It's another great week here in the Huddle with Coach Ruffin. We're glad to have you with us. Hi, I'm A.A. Moore, and again, we're with the esteemed coach of the 2018 SIAC champions, Coach Reginald Ruffin. And Coach, it was a big week. Morehouse coming in, Prince Hall Americanism Classic, a lot of ghosts and demons that we had to deal with, but also the home opener.
Well, we was excited to be home and our fans, and you look at the atmosphere, it was just excited to see all the tailgating going on, fans in the stands, and just a great football atmosphere. So I thought our kids came to play. I was very excited about that. We didn't finish at the end, but it's a lot of improvement, a lot of work to do.
So with Morehouse coming in for this ball game, and again, there was a lot of talk about what happened the year prior. Did you use that as motivation, or did you try to kind of keep that in the past and stay focused on what was happening now?
Well, you know, you can't let your past catch up with your future. And last year, that was just a tough loss for us to lead that game for 3.5 quarters and to give it up with last, 13 seconds and throw the Hail Mary on us. And that plane ride was like a very disgusting ride coming back, you know, a bitter taste in your mouth. So our kids kind of remembered that, had it in the back of their mind, and we didn't kind of focus on that, but that loss really had our kids really upset with that loss last year and how it ended.
Well, when Morehouse comes into town, it's always a big deal, and with it being the Prince Hall Americanism Classic, it was even more of a big deal. We'll get into that big deal when we come back from break. You're in the Huddle with Coach Ruffin.
In the Huddle with Coach Ruffin is brought to you in part by Andrews Sports Medicine, ADT, the UPS Store, TNT Fireworks, and the Maxwell Tillman Law Firm.
From a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise. I rise. I rise.
Welcome back to In the Huddle with Coach Ruffin. And Coach, before we get into the highlights, Morehouse had come in. They had played 2 games as opposed to Miles just playing 1. Did that give them any advantage, do you think?
You know, I think just for them starting off real early, you know, playing Alabama A&M, actually playing Alabama A&M real tough, a FCS opponent, and losing the last few seconds of that game after going up with a minute to go in the game. And, you know, for our kids, you know, that they had to kind of heads up on us by playing that game. But you always have to play one game at a time and focus on one game. And so we were just getting ready, even though we had played Fort Valley and they had played 2 games, we were just getting ready to play football. And we knew we was playing a good football team that was coming in here and Morehouse, and Coach Freeman, well-disciplined, well-coached team. And we knew it was going to be a dogfight.
And how did you feel about the momentum that your team had coming into this game against Fort Valley? It was tight all the way until the 4th quarter, and then they were able to get 3 touchdowns there to kind of seal the ball game. Did that give you some momentum?
Oh, it did. You know, you have to finish games, and once we found out we could finish games compared to starting the season last year, then we came back, and the Fort Valley game was real tight, 17, and our kids just did 21 points right there and give us that lead and to be able to close out games, and that led us to getting ready for Morehouse, that we could close out. And we needed to be able to close out because last year we didn't close out the Morehouse game and lost on the Hail Mary.
Well, it's Miles against Morehouse in the Prince Hall Americanism Football Classic. The Golden Bears looking to go 2-0 for the first time since 2009. Let's get right into the highlights. Miles and Morehouse in the Prince Hall Football Classic at Sloan Alumni Stadium, the season opener, and Miles gets the ball first. Offsides play, so it's a free play to Leonard Tyree for 25 yards.
You know, our rule is, you know, once they make contact with the ball, hey, you just got to keep playing, keep finishing.
That was on a 3rd and 5. Here it's 4th and 6. Daniel Smith extends the play, finds Antonio Lee for the big 22-yard pickup and the first down.
They just flushed Daniel out, and great him looking downfield and finding the receiver.
Another 3rd down. This is 3rd and goal. This time it's gold, as in touchdown gold, to Anthony Robinson for 6 yards.
Great protection. We knew there was bringing the blitz up the middle. A great route by Lee Anthony and great throw and catch.
So here's where the game starts to turn. Brady Hamill with the pooch kick, And it's Miles that comes up on top of it. I think that was Jerry Shade, Coach.
Yeah, Shade had a big special team, big day. But we watched on film, you know, they didn't get back a little bit in that corner spot, and just a surprise pop on the of the football.
Well, that gives Miles the ball inside the 20-yard line. And here again, Daniel Smith finds the big target, Antonio Lee.
Great throw and catch, and Antonio, what can I say, glad to have him back.
And this time, Smith on the read play, keeps it himself, goes in from 6 yards, and now it's 14-0.
Great job by offensive line. Offensive line, what can I say, always, you know, blocking and doing a great job.
Well, sometimes you get one onside kick and you're happy with it, but Coach, it looks like you didn't want to be satisfied with just one onside kick.
We just watched the film, and we just knew they was getting back and had some things that we needed to do in order to get that ball, and I think Brady's did a great job on onside kicking.
Perfectly executed. It's Ozzie Williams Jr. who picks the ball up at midfield, and Miles looking to go up 3 touchdowns without Morehouse touching the ball. Unfortunately, Daniel Smith back to pass. The pressure comes. Demetrius Lofton gets the sack, and it's Marquise Stewart, the big defensive tackle, who brings it back inside Miles territory.
Yeah, the left tackle got beat. Great job by Morehouse.
And there's the quarterback, Sims, trying to make a completion on 3rd and long, but it was a pass interference call against Kendrell Walker. Sets Morehouse up here. Big run by Santo Dunn.
Hey, player of the year, you know, we got to corral him and contain him. Just unbelievable player.
Well, he gets down to the 1. All the Morehouse players thought he got in. The referee said, no, just short of the goal line. Second play on goal to go from the 1. Dunn trips, and it's Terry Beckham. Johnny on the spot. He recovers for the Golden Bears.
Great job by defensive line penetration and just causing him to trip, and he loses control of the football.
Well, here's the new look. It's the Bearhead. The guys have found something to reward each other with when they've made a strong play, and Terry Beckham Jr. puts the Bearhead on. Here again, 3rd and 6, and to the sticks and beyond is Antonio Lee.
Yeah, great protection and just great reading the route and great route running by Antonio Lee.
He had a team-high 5 catches on the night. This pass to Dominique McNeely, they called no flag. It looked like he was interfered on.
Yeah, you know, sometimes they're going to call it, sometimes they're not. You just got to continue playing.
A couple plays later, pressure coming, and Daniel Smith just throws it up in the air. He's intercepted by Diedrich Van over, and Morehouse is able to keep the ball.
He's got to sit in there and not make that throw, so we don't want to turn the ball over.
Well, it didn't take very long before Morehouse decides to give it back up. Pressure was coming, and Jerry Shade, again, right man, right time, first interception of the season.
Great job by Jerry reading that, and so just excited.
And so he gets his chance with the Bearhead, and now Miles is back on offense. And it's Darrell Freeman, ran for 114 yards last week. This week, he gets off to a strong start as he picks up 12.
Yeah, with Darrell, you know, he got banged up, and we lost him in the first part of the game.
And there you see there, he's fighting. He gets 6 yards, but he comes up lame, had to be helped off the field. We saw him on crutches, Coach. What is the output look on him?
Just a sprained ankle. Hopefully we'll get it back in the latter part of the season.
Dante Edwards had 111 yards last week, but this time he coughs up the football. Daniel Norman gets the first fumble, and Jonathan Mathis recovers. That's all the highlights in the first quarter. We're going to move to the second quarter quickly. LeJean Cordier comes in. It's his turn at quarterback, but it's the same guy, Antonio Lee.
Hey, great protection. And LeJean, he does a great job and just throw and catch and doing his job.
But here's the replacement. It's Wade Streeter. He came into this game with 58 yards, career rushing. He breaks one off there for 13. Then on the next run, Coach, big almost touchdown run for Streeter.
Hey, the rule is the next guy up, you know, losing Darrell, but hey, we just got to run it backs by committee, and everybody just, when it's your turn, your number, you got to get in there and perform.
Streeter hits for 36 on that play, gets Miles down to the 1, where LeJean Cordier, this looks like the opposite of what happened with Daniel Smith. He just went the other way, 1 yard for the score. It's 21-0 with 4:44 left in the first half.
Great job by offensive line, you know, open up those holes, and great job by LeJean just reading.
Miles gets the ball back here. Daniel Smith back at quarterback on 3rd and 18. He's able to get away, extend the play. He finds the freshman Grant Dubose at the sticks.
great job. Protection, and then Grant, the freshman, super freshman we call him, he's going to have a great career here.
He was short just a yard. It was picked up and then to the house here, or nearly to the house for Wade Streeter. He picks up 23 on that run. Then he's going to get one more shot here with the ball, and this is when he hits pay dirt with the extra effort.
Great blocking by our offensive line, man. Just open up holes, and hey, Streeter just finding the seams and he's just scoring a touchdown. Streeter
ran for 93 yards in the first half, which was, again, more than he had run for in his entire career. That touchdown made it 28-0 at the half. Miles was in complete control of this ball game.
Well, we just want our kids just to understand the importance of just focusing and making sure we come out ready to play 0-0, coming out of halftime and establish the first 5 minutes.
Well, as Miles went to the locker room, they were up 28-0. Like you said, you were already looking forward to the third quarter, but talk a little bit, Coach, about that first quarter and being able to keep the ball away from Morehouse. It was almost like we don't want to be in the kind of situation we were in Chicago.
Well, total domination early on in that first half, and we saw some things on film, especially in the special team game with the surprise pop and surprise middle onside, that we felt like we could get the ball. And I think our kids did a good job of just practicing that all week. But we knew we was coming up against a good Morehouse team that was very talented and loaded with the Offensive Player of the Year and Dunn and the quarterback. So those guys really had so many weapons on offense. So our biggest thing was defensively, we just needed to make sure we contain those guys. But if our offense can just grind out that clock and keep them on the sideline where they don't have to come out there, I just felt like we had a good chance of really dominating this game.
There were 2 turnovers there in the first half. I'm sure that didn't make you happy at all.
It didn't make me happy at all because, you can't win the big games, or you can't win games if you continue turning the ball over. And we didn't have that problem the first game. But we got to definitely go back and correct that turning over the football.
Well, it's 28-0 at halftime. When we come back, before we get to the second half highlights, we've got a great feature on our star linebacker, Austin Stevens. We'll be back here in the huddle with Coach Ruffin.
So Darren, you're with the UPS store?
Yeah, we actually printed these invites.
Wow, I thought you guys just did shipping.
No, we do printing, packing, shredding, notarizing, mailboxing, faxing, binding, taping, laminating, copying, consulting, creating, designing, returning, and of course shipping.
Cool.
Nice costume.
It's my work uniform. Where are you going?
Go to the UPS store for everything your small business needs. And of course, shipping.
In the Huddle with Coach Ruffin is brought to you in part by Andrew Sports Medicine, ADT, the UPS Store, TNT Fireworks, and the Maxwell Tillman Law Firm.
Back here in the Huddle with Coach Ruffin, and before we get to those second half highlights, we're going to sit down with Austin Stevens, the All-American linebacker for the Golden Bears. We're going to talk a little bit about how he even came to Miles and what his career has meant to him as he's been such a star for the Golden Bears.
My name is Austin Stevens. I play linebacker, and I'm from Montford, Alabama. It's a funny story. My coach in high school, my offense coordinator, Coach Darryl LeBeau, played here. I don't know what year, probably around 2006. And he knew Coach Langford, the old defense coordinator, and they knew each other. And they got me on a visit here. And then that's when I talked to Coach Ruffin. They decided they bring me in. Well, I mean, just to get out there and get some experience. It was good. Our motto here has always been next man up, and that was my situation. So I came in, some people got hurt, and I got to play, and that's still how we go. It's still next man up, regardless of who you are. And getting that experience as a freshman, I think, definitely set me up to mature faster. Being the middle linebacker, you're pretty much the leader of the whole defense. You got to be the most talkative every single play, and you really can't get tired. So being the mic is it's more of a job, but it's cool. That's what I built my junior year off of, really, because that was probably one of the most embarrassing games I've ever had as a player and as a team. And that's pretty much every day, I was like, that was just always in my head. That loss, how I played and how we played, and that's always, still now. It's just you don't want that feeling again, and we just kind of do everything you can not to experience that again. So. The position switch wasn't that hard. Will linebacker, sort of in the box anyways in our defense. Sometimes you got to get out of it. It was cool. I mean, our coaches do a great job of coaching us up, so the transition wasn't hard. Getting a score touchdown, that was my first time doing that in college. And it was a good experience. I remember Coach Ruffin said, you can't just make tackle, you got to do something else. And that was something extra I got to do. I mean, it was kind of frustrating a little bit to be doing well and struggling in the record, I guess. But you kind of just got to take it next play, next game. And that's really how I did it. And then as time went on, you saw a change in our record. Feeling it's indescribable, really. It was amazing just for the whole team to, we started so slow. We've been through a lot the past 2 or 3 years, and just to have that feeling of just, it paid off. We can finally relax. Not really, man. You hear Coach Saban talk about rat poison, and and that kind of stuff, and that's really what it is. You can't think about it. You just got to work. Work to be the best that you can be, and try to contribute and find your role on the team and do it. Whether that be All-American or just, a special teams guy, whatever. I think this defense is special. Coach Watson comes in, he's bringing new stuff that we really haven't done since I've been here. And, it's showing teams different things. And it's good, we got guys out there who are just coming on, they're taking on their role, and they're playing great. I think what's important is the people I've met along the way. From players I've met, my teammates, to coaches, to administrators, to my teachers, to professors. It's just been great. I think that's the most important thing. The people I've met and the things I've learned, the way I've grew as a player and as a man. And I think that's what I've experienced here, and I think that's what the most important thing I'm going to take from.
Coach, Austin Stevens has been a find for the Golden Bears. He talked about it in the piece there where he was able to come to Miles off of a relationship. Talk a little bit about recruiting throughout the state of Alabama and how much Austin has meant to this program.
Oh my God, when you talk about Austin Stevens, a great kid, just a great young man in the classroom, over 3.5 grade point average, graduates in December, been our star linebacker, he's been our captain, he's been the guy that really took this bull by the horn with this defense and kind of just did the things we asked him to do and be successful on and off the field, man. I was blessed to have a young man to come here in this program, and him being of descent, not just African American, but for him just coming in here and not worrying about color, just coming in here and having an opportunity to get a good quality education and help this team be successful. He has done that, and recruiting him out of high school was unbelievable. He was an unbelievable player out of high school. Then coming here, man, he just picked up where he left off in high school.
Well, we haven't called his name much, but he certainly has had an impact on this program, this game, this season, and throughout his entire career. We'll get a chance to look at him and the entire Miles football team in the second half when we come back. You're in the Huddle with Coach Ruffin.
In the Huddle with Coach Ruffin is brought to you in part by Andrews Sports Medicine, ADT, the UPS Store, TNT Fireworks, and the Maxwell Tillman Law Firm.
Back here in the Huddle with Coach Ruffin, and Coach, you're up 28-0. You do have to kick the ball off, but you have to at least be comfortable a little bit knowing that the first drive is not a drive that can kill you. You've got a little space to work with.
Well, we always set the tone, and we tell guys, whether we're receiving the ball or kicking it off, first 5 minutes has to be established in the second half, and we just told everybody it's 0-0. That's why our kids believe in. They know it was a new ball game, second half, and we just got to close it out. And so I thought our kids was mentally ready to close out the game until the latter part of the game, fourth quarter.
Well, before we get to the fourth quarter, we've got to work the third quarter, so we're going to get right to our second half highlights. So, Coach, we start the second half here. Your defense comes on the field, does its job. Miles gets the ball back, and here, a quick screen to Wade Streeter.
Hey, just pick off where we left off in the first half. Great job. Great blocking by our offensive line once again.
Picks up 17 on 3rd and 18. You go for it. You get the first down conversion, and Miles is still on the attack here. Daniel Smith back to pass. Finds Dominique McNeely. for a couple of yards there.
Great protection and just great read by Daniel, just Dominic getting inside of that defender.
And then it's Streeter. Coach, he was untouched. Hit one hole, hit a second hole, went 35 yards to give Miles a 35-0 lead.
And what can I say? Once again, our offensive line just opened it up, and Streeter just finding the seam in the crease and taking it to the house.
Streeter ran for 192 yards and 2 touchdowns for Miles, and now the defense going to work. Cameron Sneed, first sack of the season.
Yeah, redshirt freshman, Cameron's done a great job. I think he ended up with 2 sacks this game.
That's right, and the next one's coming right here on this play. This time he goes to the other side and pulls down backup quarterback Jalen Brown.
Great job by Cameron. Great job by coverage downfield by our defensive backs.
Miles back on offense here. We hadn't called this name much, but a good completion here from Smith to Montavious Tinch for 20 yards.
That play was open. I think we missed that read a couple of times first half, but they came back to it second half.
Miles had a chance to go for it on 4th and short. Instead, you send out your preseason all-conference kicker, Jackson Spradlin. He knocks one through from 31, and it's now 38-0. Did you ever imagine you'd be up 38-0 in this game?
Well, it's a tough team, tough opponent, so we just got to continue playing hard.
Here, 3rd and 6, and Brown finds Tramel Gooden for 38 yards. Looked like a bust there, Coach.
Yes, total bust by the secondary, playing 2 different coverages back there. So you always got to communicate, so we definitely got to work on that.
That put Morehouse inside the 20, and on the next play, Brown drops back. He finds Albert Connell for 15 yards, and Morehouse is finally on the board.
Yeah, just pass defense got a little complacent that series, and we got to do a better job and make sure we're closing it out.
Miles gets the ball back on the ensuing series, and Daniel Smith this time throws another interception right to Dedrick Vanover.
Bad read by the quarterback. I think the flat defender jumped the flats and the curl was open, so definitely got to continue working on the curl flat combination.
Here, Brown is back to pass again, and he finds Santo Dunn. You were able to pretty much keep him bottled up, but that time he was able to get loose out of the backfield.
Yeah, he came out of the backfield. Austin was out leverage, and he knows that. He came back from the side to the sideline and said he was out leverage.
Here, quick pass over to the corner. It's Terry Beckham on coverage, but he's unable to stop Gooden. 3-yard touchdown completion. There's still 13:20 left, and it's 38-14.
Well, you're on the island by yourself. You got to make that. You got to compete, and I think Terry didn't compete on that play.
Well, after you called the timeout, it seemed like that was money. Well, before we get to the timeout there, we've got a completion from Brown, this time to Albert Connell for 17 yards, and that's when you called the timeout, Coach.
Yeah.
And it turned into gold on the next play. Mitchell Smiley with the pressure up the middle. Brown throws it. It's Nictavious Floyd. He runs it back 53 yards for the pick six, and that's 45-14 Golden Bears.
Well, one of our guys to finish the game, and I just thought that he was getting complacent and not running the coverage and not doing the thing that we asked him to do. So I called timeout, and that's a great response by those guys.
Well, Morehouse gets on the board one more time, but in the end, it's Miles 45-21 over Morehouse. You go to 2-0. Like I said, for the first time since 2009, you've got your team 2-0 and looking good doing it.
Well, I think our kids really responded that we was playing a very good football team, and Morehouse was coming in after playing an FCS opponent, giving them all that they had, and just our kids just really relying on just being great and great at home and doing the things that it takes for us to win this ball game.
Well, Morehouse came in giving up less than 60 yards a game on the ground, and you were able to churn out more than 200 for the second week in a row. Talk about this run game from the offensive line to the backs to the OC, Aaron James, who's making the calls.
Well, everything starts up front, man. I think Coach Ellis has done a great job since we have been here at Miles and with our offensive line. And, you open up the run game, and it gives you the opening up the pass game. But Coach Ellis does a great job with those guys, and my hat's off to him and the way those guys respond to being coached every day. And then Coach James kind of throwing people off with the pass, run, pass combination. He's doing a good job of mixing it up. And, the sky's the limit for our offense. We knew having all 5 starters coming back would be a plus in having our starting quarterback and so many returners on offense. So we're proud of that, excited about it. But it's a lot of work to do, a lot of room to improve, and I think our kids are up for the challenge.
One of the best running backs in this conference came in to Sloan Alumni Stadium looking to pick up big numbers. Instead, though, Miles shut him down, -7 yards rushing for the game. For the season, you've given up 5 yards on the ground, number 2 in the NCAA. Talk about that rush defense.
Well, I think the new hire with Coach Rashad Watson, I think Coach Watson has came in and done a great job, took the bull by the horn with his defense and the ball, and still, of stopping the run. We didn't do a great job at time last year of stopping the run, but this year that was a big focus. Our kids are seasoned guys, returned so many starters, and those guys really are responding to Coach Watson. And, anytime you can shut down the run, you make them one-dimensional. That's what we want to do on the defense side of the ball. But our kids respond well. They work hard. We got great leaders on defense, great leaders with Austin and those guys on that front line. Those guys doing a real good job. So you have to be able to stop the run, and I'm excited for the first 2 games that these guys have really stopped the run.
Well, first, congratulations to Mitchell Smiley. He was named the SIAC Defensive Player of the Week. He had 9 tackles, a quarterback hurry, and a pass breakup. Mitchell Smiley has played very well for you thus far.
Oh, Mitch, we call him Money Mitch, and, always his last name is Smiley. So we try to get him to smile. He won't smile, but Mitchell is, he's a great, tremendous athlete. Came here, started as a true freshman for us last year, and just picked up and really worked hard and comes and gives his all every day. Just a quiet leader. He's always going to be where he's supposed to be and doing what he's supposed to do and being successful doing it. So definitely excited about Mitch.
Well, we'll need Mitch's help when it takes time to come up with Missouri S&T. Coach, you've got a trip to Rolla, Missouri for Missouri S&T, and talk a little bit about taking on this team, which is a team that we have never seen before.
Well, they're in the GLEAT, conference, and those guys do a real good job. Have so many representation in Division II. A tough team. Last year they played Tuskegee, one of our conference opponent, and ended up beating Tuskegee in Tuskegee last year. And so we just picked up a good non-conference football game that I think our kids can, see how we measure up to a good Division II opponent that's possibly a playoff contention opponent. And we got our work cut out for us. They are big at receivers and running backs. Offensive line is huge, and those guys do a good job. And they do a good job on defense and just mixing it up with the 3-4, with the 4-2, 5. So we just got our work cut out for us, and it's going to be a tough game come Saturday.
Well, the Miners are one of the top 20 teams in the NCAA Division II in running the football. So you're certainly going to have your work cut out trying to take care of that team. That game will kick off at 7 o'clock on Saturday, again in Rolla, Missouri. Hopefully you can join us there. If not, we'll have the replay of the ball game on Monday night here on WOTM Sports, and we're glad to have had you here with us today. We'll be here next week. Make sure you check your local listings to see when the show will be on your television, and hopefully we'll be talking about another Miles College win. So with the coach, Reginald Ruffin, I'm A.A. Moore. We thank you for joining us. Come back next week. We'll discuss next week's game against Missouri S&T. You've been in the Huddle with Coach Ruffin.